Imagine a snow-covered forest. Frozen silence broken by a desperate cry. A truck skids to a halt, and through the twisted undergrowth, a flash of silver eyes appears. A young wolf, trapped between rocks, bleeding and shaking. But what seems like a simple rescue quickly becomes a life-or-death situation. When the watchful eyes of the pack shimmer in the distance, ready to defend their own, Riley takes a steady breath, fully aware that one wrong move could cost them dearly. With a subtle signal, she motions to her trainee. The tension in the air feels like a wire pulled taut. Now what? How do you save the pup without triggering a full-on attack? If you want to know how this unbelievable story ends, tap that subscribe button and stay with me. You won't regret it. Under a heavy, snow-laden sky, the aging pickup moved carefully along the narrow path that cut through the mountains. Deep, tired tracks etched the frozen ground behind it. The cold air stung Riley's face as she kept her focus locked ahead. She knew these woods, unforgiving terrain, where danger often came without warning. As an experienced tracker, she had long learned that nature doesn't offer second chances. Then faint but unmistakable a sound broke the quiet. A choked, painful cry like the wind itself was pleading. Riley slammed the brake and the engine groaned in protest. She turned to Noah, the young trainee beside her, his face already alert. You heard that right? Riley asked quietly, eyes still scanning the forest edge. Noah leaned forward, trying to listen beyond the wind's howl. After a few seconds, he nodded, face tight with concern. Sounded like a pup. Maybe a wolf, he said softly, his voice low with uncertainty. Riley didn't waste a second. She pushed open the truck door and stepped out. Noah quickly following. The sound was clearer now. Pained whimpers coming from somewhere deep among the trees. They moved slowly, boots crunching over ice-crusted ground, careful not to slip. With each step the cries grew louder, threading through the twisted branches like a call for help. Riley parted a thicket of frozen limbs and stopped. Her chest tightened. Young Wolf was wedged between two large stones, likely dislodged from the nearby slope. Its silver eyes shone with fear, and its front legs were stuck, possibly broken, beneath the weight. Its dark fur was smeared with dried blood and dirt, its body shivering violently. Crouched at a safe distance, careful not to startle it. Her voice was soft and even full of quiet reassurance. Hey, it's okay. We're going to get you out. All right. The pup stayed still, too, weak and scared to move, but not resisting. Riley knew that voice and posture mattered more than speed right now. Just as she began reaching into her coat for the first aid kit, Noah tapped her shoulder urgently. Riley, up there. His whisper was barely audible. He followed his gaze and froze. Across a ridge just beyond the trees, several wolves stood watching. A large female, surely the mother, stood tall and unmoving, eyes sharp and fixed on the scene below. Around her, a thick-bodied male and two other wolves flanked her closely. Their bodies were tense, unreadable, ready. The forest felt unnaturally still. If they think we're a threat, they'll come at us without hesitation, Riley said quietly, not taking her eyes off the wolves. Noah shifted his weight, exhaling slowly. So what do we do? He asked, barely masking the strain in his voice. Riley paused for a beat, thinking through every possible outcome. Then she spoke, steady and calm. We work quickly, carefully. If she sees we're helping her, pup, not hurting it, there's a chance she won't attack. Riley moved in slowly, kneeling beside the pup. Gently, she placed her hand on the trembling body, feeling the faint warmth that still lingered. The young wolf flinched at her touch, letting out a soft whimper, but it was too exhausted to resist. Rapid heartbeat pulsed beneath her palm, a clear sign of the fear coursing through the fragile creature. Okay now, she whispered in a soft, calm tone, lightly stroking its back. Getting you out. Just hold on. Keeping her eyes on the pup, Riley assessed the situation with care. The rocks pinning the animal were partially frozen, their jagged edges pressing tightly into its front legs. Pulling it free without care could cause serious damage, maybe even break a joint. The thought made Riley wheeze. This had to be done carefully, not quickly. We need to reduce the friction around the legs, she said, reaching into her pack for a clean cloth. Soaked it with warm water from a canteen, and began moistening the pup's limbs and sides, washing away the dried blood and grime. Beneath the mess, a thick coat of dark fur began to show through. The little wolf remained still, breathing in short, shallow bursts as Riley whispered to him gently, "Let's try moving him." "Now," she told Noah, who had already crouched beside her. He slid a hand under the pup's head to keep it steady, while Riley braced both hands around its hips and began to ease it free. The pup tensed, letting out a sharp whine, its legs trembling with the strain. "It's not budging." Riley shook her head, frustration rising. "It's wedged too tight. Forcing it might do more harm than good." She glanced up toward the ridge and saw the wolves were still watching. The mother had come closer, crouching low, with her tail twitching anxiously in the snow. Her eyes stayed locked on the pup, on the edge between panic and fury. Riley knew she had to act fast. "We'll need to break the rock," she said, her voice steady with resolve. Noah nodded, and took off toward the truck to grab the tools. While he was gone, Riley stayed beside the pup, continuing to soothe him with a soft voice, even as the pack's watchful presence loomed. Minutes later, Noah returned with a small hammer and chisel. He took position beside Riley and began tapping carefully at the stone, aiming to crack it without sending shock waves through the trapped animal or triggering a reaction from the wolves. Each strike echoed through the clearing, while Riley gently supported the pup's head, making sure it didn't shift suddenly. "You're doing great, little guy," she whispered, over and over as flakes of stone scattered around them. After 20 minutes, the final sliver of rock gave way, leaving just enough room to pull the pup free. Riley didn't hesitate. Slid her arms under the wolf and eased him out. The pup let out a soft cry and collapsed onto the snow, legs unsteady, but finally free. Suddenly, a deep, sharp howl ripped through the air. The mother wolf was charging toward them, her eyes blazing with urgency. "Back up now," Noah shouted, yanking Riley away. They both took slow steps back, eyes locked on the mother as she descended the hill. Ears pricked, teeth just barely bared. The pup blinked as if trying to make sense of it all. Then, catching the familiar scent, it stirred. With an unsteady push, it stumbled toward her. As he reached her, the mother wolf immediately lowered her head, sniffing him all over. Her nose moved along his sides, checking every inch. Then, in a pause that felt like eternity, she licked his forehead with gentle precision. The pup gave a low, contented whimper and curled up beneath her chest. Riley exhaled deeply, tension melting from her shoulders. Still, the question lingered. Did the wolf understand they were only trying to help? The mother's eyes weren't filled with rage now, but they didn't show gratitude either. Was something in between, a quiet recognition, maybe even a guarded acceptance. As the pack began to retreat into the forest, Riley remained still, watching the small silhouette of the pup tucked safely beside its mother. Cold breeze passed through the clearing, carrying with it the crisp scent of pine and the quiet relief of a mission fulfilled. Noah came up beside her, still catching his breath from the stress of it all. He gave her a half smile, equal parts wonder and disbelief. "You think she knows we saved her pup?" he asked, half serious, half hoping. Riley tilted her head, remembering that moment when the wolf's eyes had met hers before walking away. Not quite thankful, but not hostile either. Somewhere in between. "I'm not sure," she replied with a faint smile. "But for a second there, I think she knew we weren't the enemy." Noah chuckled and gave her shoulder a light pat. "Whatever it was, I won't forget this." After one last look at the woods where the wolves had disappeared, they packed up their gear, making sure they left nothing behind. Once everything was cleared, they walked back to the truck. The engine roared back to life, and as Riley looked out the window, she saw the sky turning shades of deep red. She knew there'd be more calls, more injured animals, abandoned traps. The unpredictable wild. But seeing that pup walk free beside its mother made every second worth it. As the vehicle disappeared down the winding road, a small shape emerged at the forest's edge. The young wolf paused for a moment, gazing directly at the car. His silver eyes shimmered in the fading twilight, and as if he somehow understood he'd been given a second chance, he took one final step into the thick brush, following his mother into the heart of the forest where he truly belonged. Riley smiled quietly to herself, and with a gentle grip on the wheel, continued driving, leaving nature to carry on its own story. Watching the pup finally free beside his mother reminds us of the true value of freedom, and how even the smallest acts of kindness can make a lasting difference. Protecting nature isn't just a duty, it's a daily choice, a promise to care and preserve so that stories like this can keep unfolding. If this story moved you, give the video a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. And here's something important. 93% of people who watch our videos aren't subscribed yet. If you're one of them, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our inspiring stories. Now, imagine being at an airport just about to board your flight, when suddenly a police dog refuses to let you through, staring at you as if it sees something no one else can. Moments later, pain explodes in your body and everything changes. What did that dog sense? And how did it know before any medical test that 2 lives were hanging by a thread? Want to find out what happened and feel the emotions of this powerful story? Don't miss the next video on the Curious Whiskers channel. Click the video on your screen and come with me. Big emotions come with unforgettable stories. See you there.